Hello and welcome. In this video I'm going to show you how you can install OcNOS operating system on a network device, and this network device could be of different types. There are some vendors that provide you the networking device without an operating system, and also there are some of these platforms that have an operating system on them, but maybe you want to change the operating system because of a lot of considerations that you have. We are going to speak about those considerations later. And you want to have uniform network environment in your network. So what you are going to do is to install OcNOS on those devices. Now, the device that I'm using for this installation right now is Router 4. Router 4 has already OcNOS installed on them. So what I try to do first of all is to remove this operating system, and this procedure might be necessary on some of the devices that you have received and it has a pre-installed operating system on that and you want to uninstall it. So the process of uninstallation is going to be one of the steps that you need to take before installing OcNOS on that device. And also you should know that on this device I have a USB port and a USB disk is connected to that, containing an operating system. The environment which is going to handle the installation is called ONIE. ONIE is going to figure out where the operating system resides. If there is a USB disk, for example, it's going to be searched for that. If there is a network location, it's going to be searched for that. So almost there's a list of places that ONIE tries to search to find an operating system, and the name of the operating system, of course, is based on some patterns that ONIE understands and tries to find the best operating system for this device, which is compatible with the device which is right now on that, and then it's going to do the installation for you without even kind of a ZTP thing, zero touch provisioning thing for you. The installation is going to consist of multiple steps. First of all, if there is an operating system installed, you need to uninstall that operating system. The second step is going to be to install the operating system itself. The third step is going to be to do the licensing. Now, licensing could be done using zero-touch provisioning. The installation could be done using zero-touch provisioning. In this video, of course, I'm going to do almost everything manually, but I'm going to show you the commands that you need for zero-touch provisioning, which of course is very simple and very straightforward. So, like I said, there is an installation environment which is called ONIE, and if you just open the ONIE project website, it says that the name stands for Open Network Install Environment, or ONIE, as you can see that. It is almost pre-built for different network devices, but you can, of course, find the on GitHub, you can find the source code and compile it for your own device if you want to. And initially what it does, it says initially ONIE enabled the white box and bare metal network switching ecosystem by opening up the hardware to multiple operating system vendors. So what it means is, if you have a device from a vendor and you have bought it, that vendor, for example, might provide some switches, some routers, some firewalls, some different types of devices without an operating system, and you would like to install an operating system on that. OcNOS is one of them, for example. You can just use ONIE on that, and most of the time the vendor has ONIE pre-installed on the device for you. So this means that whenever you start the device, the ONIE grub menu is going to open up and you can just select to install an operating system. ONIE is going to try to search for the operating system and find it for you, and then you can select from the list which one is going to be good, or based on the information that ONIE receives from the device itself, it can just guess which one of the operating systems on the, let's say, network share, for example, or on a USB disk, or on the location on the local disk is going to be useful for this device. And you can just see some of the highlights. For example, combines a bootloader and a modern Linux kernel. This one is very important for us. And this is going to be in comparison with boot protocol that previously was used to figure out the operating system on the network. And some of the options, for example, were used to be received from a DHCP server. Here we are going to use a DHCP server for, of course, receiving an IP address and connecting to the network. One of the ports are going to be used for this kind of a connection. It is port ETH0 on most of these devices. ETH0 is going to be the management port, and when ONIE starts, only the management port is going to be available for us, and we can just use that port to receive the operating system, maybe from management network, local network for us. The second one says provides an environment for installing any network operating system. The third one says disruptive. This one is good because it says liberating users from a captive pre-installed network operating system. So let's say that you have devices from some of those big names, and they have their devices plus the operating system. Let's say that you go and buy a MacBook. You know that a MacBook is sold to you plus the Mac OS installed on that. You can of course remove that Mac OS and later, for example, say I want to install Windows on that, but Mac OS is specifically developed for MacBook, and you cannot use that Mac OS on any other device. That is something like this. So you're receiving a device from a vendor, operating system is from that vendor, and it is pre-installed on that, but you can say, okay, I don't really want this because of a lot of different consideration. I want to have another operating system installed. Help automate large-scale data center switch and provisioning, like I said, because again, you are using just one operating system for different types of devices. And enables you to manage your switches like you manage your Linux servers. Exactly because of the kernel that you're using here. Now, if you just go through the website, you can see a lot of different information, but basically it shows you what is happening during the installation. Of course, I'm going to show you what is going to happen. So these two are going to be important for us. In the beginning, the bootloader is going to start, then Linux operating system is going to try to locate and execute installer from network. This is going to search different places with different patterns, and finally it's going to find an installer, and then it is going to provide that installer for the device. And after that, when installation is completed, ONIE is there. ONIE is not going to start. You can see it in the grub menu, of course, but it is not going to start. It is just there for you in case you want to remove the operating system and add another one, or have a reinstallation of the current operating system for different reasons. So ONIE is not going to be removed from your device. And also ONIE is going to create different partitions on the hard disk, which we are going to check during the installation process. Okay, the first thing that I want to do is to connect the USB disk. Right now, this is what we have on the disk on the device itself. But as you can see, USB is not mounted. But you can see that I have multiple partitions, and one of those partitions, specifically this one, let me just use framing, use a better color. This is the A5. As you can see, it is something like 113 gigabytes. This is where OcNOS is going to be installed. Other partitions, one of them is used for installation images, SCA4. And one of them, of course, I use it for configuration. You can use it for different purposes here. So these are going to be created using OcNOS. But let's just mount this first of all, the USB disk, to see what we have on that. So I'm going to mount this device to media USB. And now let's check it. As you can see, there are different things on this USB device. I'm going to just show you that what files are there. As you can see, I have already 2 different versions of OcNOS in here. And these are, of course, used for the device that I am here. I have it here. You can see this bin file. This is, as a matter of fact, the license file that I have it on my device. And also this last file. This is just to test that we can add or remove some files from this device. So that is what we have right now on this USB device. I'm going to keep this open, but what I'm going to do is to open another tab here. And on this, I'm going to just SSH to this device using the management port by entering the OcNOS. And then what I'm trying to do is to sys reload the device. So for that, I can go to enable mode, and after that, just type sys reload, and then I'm going to restart the device. Restarting the device is going to take me to the grab menu, and this is going to take some time. You need to wait for that. And after getting to that menu, I can select ONIE instead of selecting the operating system, which is pre-installed. That's going to take some time, and if I wait, okay, here we are. And okay, reload the start. Okay, here it is. As you can see, I can just go between the different menu items. The first one is the OcNOS, which is already installed. The second one is ONIE. By selecting ONIE, I can just go into the environment and start doing different things for the installation. So let's hit enter on this. Okay, this is going to take me to full ONIE menu. That's going to take some time, but not so long. Okay, I'm going to hit ONIE, and as you can see, there are different options here. Installation of the operating system, the rescue, which is going to kind of reboot for the ONIE, and then we have uninstall OS. Whatever OS is there, we can just remove it, which is going to be our first step, by the way, right now. And also embed ONIE in the end. Let's click on uninstall ONIE, uninstall OS, sorry. And that is going to check to see what operating system is there, and it is going to remove that. Now this process is going to take some time. That's going to be a little boring, so what I'm going to do is to kind of speed up the process for you so that you don't have to watch all of that happen. But let's say there's something like 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, that's going to take this amount of time just for an installation of the operating system currently on the device. So let's just speed up the process, and I am opening a console port just to connect to this so that you can see everything better. Everything that is going to happen, you need to connect using a console port for that. But for now, I'm just going to show you what are the disks that we have on this device. As you can see, I told you that we have different disks in here, and 5 of them, as a matter of fact, 5 different partitions on the disk. And this is going to show you the list much better. As you can see, like I said, the actual operating system is going to install on this. This partition is used for the installers, and if you download the operating system from the network location, then it is going to keep the installer file in this partition automatically for you. And I'm using this for configuration. You can use it for different purposes in this part. Going back to the uninstallation, and let's see that I have this Ethernet 0. As you can see, ONIE has understood the IP address for that. It is going to use this IP address, of course, is received through DHCP, and I can just use it to console to SSH to the device itself. In the meantime, if I go back to the tab that I had open, I am connected using SSH in this. If I just go forward, this is the IP address that I have received. Let me just check this. The IP address that I have received through DHCP for ETH0, the management port is 172.16.10.204. And if I just go back to here, I can just receive some installers and install the operating system, the OcNOS operating system, through the OcNOS itself. Let's say that right now I am in OcNOS and I don't really want to go to ONIE. So what should I do? In this case, I'm going to check to see what installers I have in my disk or what installers I can receive through the management network. So in this case, if you just see that, I hit just enter and you can see that there is an installer right now on the disk itself. But if I try to go to actual OcNOS menu, sorry, to the enable mode, you can see that if I just say show installers, you can see that the installer which is on the disk is going to show up for you. Like I said, that is because the installer is created by OcNOS itself, and it knows where to search for the installer on its own disk. Now, let's say that I'm trying to find an update. So what I'm going to say is sys update, and then I'm going to figure out where the operating system resides on my local network, for example, storage. And when I copy the place, I can just paste it in here. In this case, for example, sys update, as you can see, and after that get, of course. This is the address for the installer itself. And when I say sys update get, it is going to be copied into installer's partition on the hard disk itself. It is going to take just a few seconds because this is a local network storage. And then if I say show installers again, and show installers, okay, you can see that the image that I wanted now is copied into my device, and then I can just say sys update and then install and select one of these two. So let's say that the file is going to be this one. Okay, paste it here, and then here we go. Do you want to do anything? Right now I'm going to say no because I have installation in progress right now. So you can see that on the other tab everything is happening. So like I said, this is going to take some time, and what I'm showing you right now is different versions of OcNOS operating system. As you can see, you can download from a long list of the OcNOS operating systems, and you can see all of them through the website as well. Just download them and then put it on the network storage that you have. But what is important here is there are different versions of OcNOS operating system. Some of them are for CSR devices, some of them are IP based, and some of them are MPLS and SP+. So each one of them, of course, is going to be used for some of the features. And you can, of course, check the feature list if you just go to documentation and DC feature matrix. And then under that, you can just select to say that you are not a robot, of course. And then you can see each one of these. As you can see, from the very low-end devices with just 32, let's say, gigabytes of throughput, up to devices with 14,400 gigabytes of throughput, you can see all of them are supported here. And based on the device that you have, based on the feature that your device wants to have, you can just select one of these operating systems from the list and then download it and install it on your device. Now, of course, the list features a lot of different capabilities that you really want to have on your device. So let's go back to here. Our installation is almost being done, and let's just move on to here. As you can see, we have all of these operating systems. You can just select them, copy them, and then you can use it in your device. Going back to here, almost complete. And after that, a reboot is going to happen. You can see that the partitions are deleted. Okay, the reboot is being done, and now you can see that we have this grub again, and inside this, what we are going to do now is going to be install operating system. So the first one is going to be selected. I'm going to hit enter on that, and then ONIE is going to go through the process of discovery. The first thing that is going to happen is to receive an IP address. As you can see, the IP address is received right now for Ethernet 0. This is the IP address that we have received. I can really use this IP address and SSH to the device, although the device doesn't have any operating system on that, but ONIE is going to be the operating system right now for this, and we can just use this for different purposes. So let's say that this is happening, and right now it cannot really understand why. I cannot really understand why it cannot read the operating system from the USB disk. Maybe USB disk is not recognized, but you can see that this is going through the process of discovery. If this is annoying for you, what you can do, you can say ONIE stop. Just type ONIE stop, and ONIE stop is going to stop the process of that. Let me just do that. ONIE stop. Okay, so discovery is now stopped. And then you can just go with different things. IP address, it shows that ONIE has received the IP address for the device. You can SSH to that using another window, and then you can continue doing whatever you want to do. You can see that it opens the ONIE itself. The ONIE shell is opened right now. Now, what is important for you is to understand that sometimes you need to start ONIE again. The reason for starting ONIE, and the command is going to be ONIE start, is, let's say that, for example, the device was not connected to the network, and now you want to start the discovery process again. Or let's say you just want to receive an IP address. You can assign an IP address automatically using DHCP, or manually just by typing an IP address on that, but that's okay. But let's say that, for example, you want to do this, and after that you want to continue the process manually. So what you need to do is to just say ONIE start, and after that ONIE start is going to start the device for you. There are other commands for ONIE that you might really want to use. One of them is this one, ONIE sysEPROM. As you can see, this is going to give us some information about the device that we are right now on that. So let's just run this command. I'm going to type ONIE sysEPROM, and this is the result that you can see. Through this result, you have the product name, and then the part number. The part number is going to be the product name plus some more information about the exact model of the device, and based on that you can decide what features this device have. You can just search on the internet or search on the IP Infusion website and then receive some information about the device. Let me just show you, before this continues, I want to show you a document that I have in here. And in this document that I have downloaded from IP Infusion website, if you see, the process of installation is explained for you. But if you go down the list, there is some interesting thing here that you can see. For example, some of the devices that you might see in here is shown for you with the port mapping, but you can just check the website itself, and through the website that's going to give you more information about the device that you have. It's going to tell you what this device is comprised of, what are the units that you have on that, what are the name of the ports, what are the capabilities of the device, and what are the ports that right now are mapped for different purposes. So this is going to be a very informative document. You can just download it from the website itself, and that's going to, as a matter of fact, give you a lot of useful information about this process. Okay, in this case, what you see is I have this specific device, S9510 28DC, and you can just check it on the website to see what you have. And also, there is something interesting in here. Let me just show you this one. This one is the base MAC address. This is not the MAC address of a port, of course, but the MAC address of the base, and after that, the port MAC addresses are going to start one after this one. Okay, now the process of installation is continuing, and that's going to, like I said, take some time, so you need to be very patient about that. Like I said, I'm going to just kind of skip forward and make everything a little fast. You can see that installation now finished, and now what is going to happen is we are going to load the OcNOS. Now I hit enter, and the first thing that you should notice is the first boot is going to take a long time. That is because it is going to start some of the services, it's going to integrate into the system, and then after that you're going to see the prompt for the OcNOS, and the next step of course is going to be installation of the license. I'm just waiting for that, but in the middle of this, I'm going to tell you what is going to happen for the installation of the license. Again, ZTP is going to kick in, and that is going to try to, as you can see, ZTP right now has started working on this device. It's going to try to, and you can see that services are starting, very nice. So it's going to try to find the license file, and then after finding the license file, install it on your device. But if you see that this is not working, what you can do is you can just skip ZTP. You can just say ZTP stop, and then you can just do it yourself. I mean you can just install the license manually. This is perhaps what we are going to do after this is happening. But right now I'm just waiting for the device to completely boot up. Like I said, that's going to take some time, but that's okay. I need to wait for that. And when the ZTP starts, that's going to try to figure out where the license is. Perhaps the local storage is going to be searched first, and after that some network storages are going to be searched, and then if nothing is found, it's going to stop. But if it finds the license, then it's going to install that. You can see that right now the interfaces are coming up. Very good. And now we can see the prompt. I just log into that, and when you log into that, you can just type EN. The interesting thing is right now there is a trial license. So if you just say, for example, some of the interfaces information, I want to just show you CD information, which is a port with 400 gigabit per second speed on that. And you can see that this is a 400 gigabit per second. And then I'm going to show the running configuration. You can see the running configuration doesn't have a lot of things. ZTP has started. ZTP is trying to find everything, but I'm going to say ZTP stop. Then I'm going to say show interfaces. You can see that there are some interfaces on here. If you have not noticed, some of the interfaces I have connected a breakout cable to that. So 400 gigabit per second interface is kind of broken down into 4 100 gigabit per second interface in this case. But of course, that is not the main version. What we are going to say is to show version, and based on that you can have some information about the device, specifically what you can see here, the hardware model. This one is from UP Space, and you can just search the website for the information about that. And this is the image file name. Like I said, after downloading the image and starting the installation, the image is going to be saved in the local storage of the device itself. And then if I just say show license, something interesting is going to show up here. There is a trial license activated for us, and you can see that by default, of course, it says 60 days. For some reason, this is 57 days, the remaining days for the license. But license is going to activate your device for 60 days. And this license is a full license. What I mean is all the features are going to be active for you, and you can use all the features. And during these 60 days, you have time to obtain the actual license from IP Infusion and then install it on your device. But assuming that you have received it, this is going to be in a bin file, and you are going to be able to install it here. But right now, as you can see, this is for OcNOS SP Plus 800, the device software, for 57 days. And this is the identifier that we have in here. and the node identifier most likely is going to be the MAC address, the base MAC address of the device, which I showed you a few minutes ago. If I just say show interface Ethernet 0, you can see that the node, the actual MAC address that we have here is going to be one more than the base MAC address here. This is what you see. In the end, we have 0B for the base MAC address and 0C for the MAC address of this Ethernet 0, which is our management interface in here. Okay, so the next step is going to, have the license itself. So if I just say show license, this is a trial license. And the first thing that I really need to do is to release the current license. So whenever you want to install a new license, you need to release the current license. This one is a trial license that I'm going to release. So I would say license release. Then I need to get the new license. So something interesting that you should know is as soon as I release the license, I need to stay in enabled mode and do the rest of the things. Of course, this is not necessary because you can just do a lot of things in user mode, but you should know that when you go to user mode, you cannot type EN and enter into privilege mode here, which is the exec mode as a matter of fact, because we don't have any license here. And here, it just warns us to receive a license first, and after installation, we are able to continue and do anything. So license get is of course available in this mode as well for us. So I'm going to do that. So I say show license again, license get, and then I'm going to type in the address. This is a network storage, of course, and the license is going to be received. And after that, it says show license. And as you can see, that's it. The installation of the license is just in a second, and the current license is installed in that. The most important part here, it says that service end date is permanent. But the previous license, as a matter of fact, had only 57 days in my case, but in your case, it should be 60 days available. So that is how you install the OcNOS operating system using ONIE on white box, and then add the license, and after that you can just enter the configuration mode and do whatever you really need to do on the device. So I hope this has been informative for you, and see you in next videos.